Good evening, everyone. Prophet Hannah here. Hope you all are doing well today. And as always, this channel here is sponsored by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who is the head of my life. I wanted to come to you this evening and talk to you about a few things. As always, the opinions shared here on this channel are personal and for entertainment purposes. I want to talk about a few things. I want to talk about this new virus that's out there and some of the things that I was able to see on this. We know that on April 6th that a man aboard MV Hondius developed respiratory symptoms and soon he died 5 days later. Um, I thought the 6th, with it being on the 6th, was, something to keep an eye open for. We also saw where his wife left the ship on the island of St. Helena. Of course, soon she developed symptoms. Her health continued to deteriorate uh, during a flight on to Johannesburg, South Africa. She died the following day. So we see all these people are out, right? And what's so odd about it is that you have people on this particular ship from all over the world, right? All over the world. So then we saw where a third person on the ship developed symptoms. Um, and they became ill and were evacuated, as did the doctor who was taking care of the people on the flight. I thought it was odd that in St. Helena, 23 people got off the boat, off the ship. 23 people got off the ship. 23, 2 divided by 3 equals 666. So I thought it was odd that 23 people got off the ship, and 2 divided by 3 equals 666. Something else that I find odd is that if you look at the word Hanta, Hanta, if we look at the meaning of Hanta, we find that in the Hebrew meaning means nonsense, lies, and a scam. That's the meaning in Hebrew. So I find it odd that that was the meaning of that. Can't trust him. I personally believe that this was an act. I believe that this was a show that we saw, that the actors. And if you seriously see a lot of people start getting sick, that means that it's being sprayed, okay? That means it's being sprayed. And so there's little subtle meaning things here that are going on where it's almost like a circus where the devil is the ringmaster, right? And so really at the end of the day, we know that the narrative here is depopulation and to get people to the mark of the beast. This is an attack on the church in progress, okay? Because that's where it's going to end up at. We know that 13 countries have been affected by this, where there's either somebody sick or somebody being monitored in these 13 countries. And what they say is that first, you can get this from rats or mice, rodents, right? And I had to laugh about that because growing up, we were around rodents all the time. We were poor, and we always had an issue with rats getting into the house, and so we had to set these traps with the cheese on them, and you had to be careful and put the cheese on them, then set the trap where uh, it would snap easy to kill the rodent, right? And so we were always around rodents growing up. Never had an issue. There was never any disease, never. And so they're also saying, hey, that this particular strand that they're dealing with, this now we see that this is the Andes virus, Andes strain, right? And what the Andes strain it has a 40% mortality rate. Okay. And so with this 40% mortality rate, it is also, as they say, able to go person to person. Okay. So again, I believe that they're setting a stage, that there is a narrative here, that what you saw was a play, what you saw was scripted, but at some point they're going to come back and spray this stuff and really make people start getting sick. If you have a 40% mortality rate, then that means that, 30 to 40% of your population is going to die, right? So there's a lot of things at play here. If some of you remember about 6 years ago, or maybe a little longer, I did a video where there were 2,400 vials stolen from a maximum security lab. 2,400. 2,400 vials stolen from a maximum security lab. 2,400. One of the diseases that was a part of the 2,400 was, you guessed it, hantavirus, right? So now we see that full circle that has come back around, and we see where this has come back up again, where it's killing people. Well, here's something that I find odd, because God has given me multiple dreams about forced vaccines. And at the end of the day, if the disease doesn't kill you, we know that the vaccine will, right? And so the ultimate goal is to inject people with these vaccines. You hear Bill Gates talk about it. So the ultimate goal is to inject people with this vaccine. And, when we look at some of the things that people don't talk about, in 2019, Gates funded a microneedle patch implant that has both the mRNA and quantum dot markings that it puts into the body. It's like a large Band-Aid, and you put it on your wrist, and as it absorbs into your wrist, it disappears. Okay. And so then in 2025, this was upgraded, right? And so now in 2026, this same program has been upgraded to install quantum dot QR codes along with the vaccine into your arm, right? Goes on the arm, the wrist. So we see now that they have this technology here in 2026. And in fact, at the World Economic Forum, it was on display, And all those evil people were very pleased with it, right? At the 2025 global meeting. So again, when you look at the disease, you look at the vaccine and the things that they are doing to tie these together. Those who do not have the vaccine, they will kick their doors in and drag them out of their apartments, right? We also see that scientists in America have created a mosquito that when it bites you will release mRNA vaccine. Yeah. They have nicknamed this mosquito flying syringe. The flying syringe. Man, these people are evil. And so moving forward, there's many moving parts. There's a lot going on to the point of where if you're not alert, you can't keep up with everything that's going on. Changing subjects, I thought it was interesting that our president went to China to meet with Xi Jinping. Of course, he took all the technology giants with him, including BlackRock. He also took all the CEOs with him from all the major banks. And so what we're seeing is that on the same day that they traveled to China, we saw where King Charles announced that he was moving forward with the digital ID program, that they were getting ready to start that. And we know that the digital ID infrastructure would take over the banking, take over health, it would take over all of the economic structure, which will be surveyed by AI, right? We know that Klaus Schwab himself stated that every nation needs to look at China when it comes to digital surveillance and one governance system into the New World Order. So we know that he made that comment. So we see that all these countries are over in China and that they are focused on the digital ID. And how ironic that Prince Charles came out and said that they were moving forward with this. So there is not a whole lot of time left, because if you look at the 2030 agenda that they have, in 2025, they were only 18% complete with that. So they got to get moving, right? Because there's only a few years left before 2030. So we see that they're moving forward with that. And again, Revelation 13 and 16 tells you that all, he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So we know that when it comes to this digital ID, that they will be able to control your money. They will be able to turn it on or turn it off. You won't need a wallet or anything like that when you go into the store to make purchases. And you will not be able to buy or sell without it. So the mark of the beast is coming soon. We know that it is around the corner. And it's time to get your house in order. God bless you. God keep you. Until we talk again.